This is KXAN News Today at 6.
This is a dynamic situation that will continue for days. We're still in the middle of the event, but we have a long way to go. I think people need to stay aware of where they are at all times.
Well, at this hour, water continues to rush from all the dams on the Highland Lakes, and even more floodgates are opening today, possibly at Mansfield Dam, and that's going to move the water, posing a threat to parts to Austin now, near Lake Austin, Lady Bird Lake, and downstream the Colorado River. So the big story that we're focusing on today has to be the Mansfield Dam.
Yeah, David, you have a really good understanding of how all of this works, and if you can, kind of give us a perspective on what we're seeing today versus floods in the past.
Yeah, we've got a timeline here worked out for you, and at any moment the LCRA could open more floodgates on Mansfield than we've ever seen, and they need to do this because we've got homes at Graveyard Point under 12 feet of water, but that move would have a real ripple effect that we need to take into account. Even in downtown Austin, it would force additional floodgate operations at Tom Miller Dam by Hula Hut. They said they're matching Mansfield 1 for 1, so if they open 8, Tom Miller opens 8. And Longhorn Dam out in East Austin, and that is a dam that has had trouble keeping up with floods in the past. You'll recall Halloween 2013 when we had massive flooding in downtown. And we have team coverage this morning on the impact. Our Candy Rodriguez starting us off live from Mansfield Dam. Candy, are there still just 4 floodgates open right now?
Yeah, that's right, David, and I actually want to bring you a closer look. That is what it looks like with just those 4 floodgates open. And Lake Travis only continues to rise, and with more rain in the forecast, LCRA will likely open those additional gates. 4 gates, bringing it to 8 total. So that would double the amount of water you're looking at right there on your screen. All of this water will head downstream, as you mentioned, to Lake Austin through Tom Miller Dam and into Lady Bird Lake, which could potentially have a major impact in downtown Austin when it comes to street flooding. Again, LCRA says it'll likely open those additional 4 gates, and that could happen by midday. As far as impacts go overall, we don't know, because if LCRA opens the additional 4 floodgates, this would be a first. They've never had 8 floodgates opened at the same time. The most they've ever had has been 6, and that was back in the 50s. So this would be a first for LCRA to open those additional 4 floodgates. They will likely do that today by midday. So we will continue to keep an eye on that. And again, just a reminder, this is all going downstream. And like you mentioned, David, they're going to open it in Tom Miller. So they open 4 here, they'll open 4 there. So it'll have a bigger impact on Lady Bird Lake, but they're still telling residents along Lake Austin to take precautions to protect their homes, but also, very importantly, themselves. And coming up at 6:30, we'll hear from one of those homeowners. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, and Candy, we want to hear the second that those floodgates are open. We appreciate your notice out there. We got hundreds of millions, even billions of dollars of private property along Lake Austin. A lot of folks recreating in that area as well. And right now, Lake Travis is less than 10 feet from reaching its highest level ever. That highest level ever was Christmas 1991. We dug up some video here from our archives, and look at this. This is out at Graveyard Point, where they had almost 2 stories of water in their house. Back then, the lake reached 710.4 feet elevation. This is some more video from that. Right now, we have crested 700 feet, and it's still rising. Check this out. In fact, we have risen now on the weather maps 34 feet in 3 days. I just